Because this book started out as a collection of poetry, not a story, I didn't make an outline. I started writing this at the end of 2019 and I stayed up during the first lockdown until 8 AM every day, obsessively writing poem after poem. It's been a year and a half since then and I'm still writing this book. I ended up with a lot of pieces to weave together and some of them are still waiting to find their place. It took a few months to get the first chapter. I needed to figure out how I wanted to tell the story. I didn't know whether to include poems from the characters' perspectives or not, because I didn't want to weaken the clarity of the story, especially as at the time the characters were her and I, and so her writing in first person would have also been I, and that was confusing. The characters are now you and her, and so that's not a problem anymore. I sent the book to some writer friends of mine and they told me that it made sense. So if it doesn't, it's their fault. No blame them. Once I nailed that, I then had to figure out how I wanted to structure the entire book. It went from 3 chapters to 13. I was trying to walk the line between ambiguity and a comprehensive story, because the collection I had in mind had movement, it had different stages, but it wasn't a concrete, specific story. So I've attempted many times over the past year to write a chapter outline. I knew where it started and I knew where it ended and I knew how it felt in the middle, but finding events that represented those feelings was difficult, especially as the characters evolved so much. Surprisingly, they developed into completely different people than the vague idea I had of them. I don't want to know how many poems and words have been cut from this book because I feel like it's more than what's been kept, and that is painful. So I have an outline now. It is very useful. It's helping me get a sense of pacing and balance, and I have a few chapters left to write, so I know what's going to happen in them. It's nice to have a little bit of guidance, have a plan in place so I know what I'm writing and what needs to be in that chapter. Yeah, I am never writing a book like this again. Next time I'm going to be smarter and I'm going to use an outline. It's taken me an entire pandemic to pants this story, and I just made an outline in the end anyway.